Hey, welcome to Hear Us Out. I'm Paul.
And I'm Patrick. And this time we're doing another famous clash in our...
Tourney.
I'm getting it out of the way early and getting him to do it quick. You can see our previous videos for the first round and our other semi-final, which is already up, in the links in the description below, or possibly on the screen somewhere, if we can technically work out how to do that. We've had some failures in the past. So, spoiler warning right now, we're going to go and we're going to be mentioning what those things are. So go ahead and watch those videos first if you don't want to know.
Yeah.
So this is our second semi-final. We have, in the final, will we set up where these have come from first, maybe? What do you say?
Yeah.
In this semi-final, to get to it, the King's Speech had the toughest run of all. It had to beat 12 Years a Slave, which it only just did. And it's facing off against...
which is
Shape of Water?
Yeah, Shape of Water. Sorry,
I said that because you look like you just forgotten.
I don't even know why. I thought we were... I don't know. It
You
doesn't
picked
matter.
it. So Shape of Water versus King's Speech. Shape of Water knocked out Spotlight in an equally close. Both of these were tiebreaker wins.
Probably, yeah. And it was Shape of Water versus Spotlight was probably the upset card.
It was the cruelest tiebreaker win because even though Paul was backing Shape of Water, you were genuinely upset when we looked at the number of Golden Globe wins.
Yeah, I'm just like reiterating the fact that, I don't think that got enough recognition as possible. I was banking on the fact, not banking, but
You thought it would be close.
I thought it was going to go for, because when we did the other draw, which is
King's Speech and 12 Years a Slave.
The Golden Globes was even, and it went to Oscars,
and it was like a one point difference or whatever.
Oh no, in the Oscars, no. Remember, King's Speech won it by like 16, and
was it 16-13 or something like that? Oh well, yeah, close enough.
So like, well, I still mean
you're
that's 3 nominations, so nomination and a win kind of thing,
That's true.
Whereas this, it was a bit of an upset.
Yeah, so it's what we have though. What we now have is King's Speech versus Shape of Water and the winner will go into the final and face off against our other winning semi-finalist, which was, Paul, would you reveal to our adoring fans?
It was Michael Keaton's
Birdman on the Wind.
Or Birdman.
ASMR Birdman.
What's the virtue of...
It's the unexpected virtue of ignorance. That is the sub heading for Birdman. And I think it is brilliantly apt for the film.
It's very good.
So how are we going to decide between King's Speech and Shape of Water? I think we should get some biases out there early.
Well, see, yeah, my heart is going towards Shape of Water still.
And obviously mine would be towards King's Speech.
Yeah.
Which I championed when it won the tiebreaker against 12 Years a Slave, and vice versa. So we're very lucky that we both backed a film that the tiebreaker put through.
Yeah.
So now we've got kind of one each. We've got a dog each in this fight.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest with you, I'm not looking forward to this because I don't know how it's going to go. I really don't. So Paul, over to you. Tell me why. Sorry. We don't have the rights for that music. Go. Sorry, I stopped in time. Can't touch this.
Oh my god, we're this good. There's just so much. So I think the best way is kind of like, we're not gonna argue too deeply in the fact of why we chose them for that round. But maybe why we think that they should go to the next round.
Oh yeah, the past doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The present and the future is all there is.
So I think, for Shape of Water, I still think it's a beautiful film.
And I agree.
I'm backing Shape of Water, but I am on more shaky ground.
Ooh. Well then, can I shake that ground further?
If you feel, well,
I'll be gentle.
I was going to
be
say
gentle. I will be gentle.
Go for it.
I'm going to shake that ground in two ways. My entire argument for King's Speech and against Shape of Water can be made thusly. King's Speech is a beautiful film that we could not find a flaw in, and that is why it ended up making it into a tiebreaker against 12 Years a Slave. Shape of Water, on the other hand, is a beautiful film with many great qualities, but it has a few qualities that are not great. There is a couple of characters that tend towards the caricature at times. There's a couple of over-the-top moments that don't help the film, and I can discuss what they are, but I think you know where I'm going to go. It's the main bad guy.
Yeah, no, we did have that discussion where we slightly agree that he does his stereotypical kind of zealousness kind of can overblow. It's kind of bad when if you have a. See, as I said, I'm on shaky ground with Shape of Water, and I do know. That,
so that's my opening gambit.
Yeah, I do understand where you're coming from, because that main character, if you were to put the cast of a movie onto a scale, that you would hope you would hope that no one character would outscale everybody else.
Tip it over. I like this. We're using this. Wow.
Whereas, in many other films, you can put most of the characters up against each other, and they should weigh a little bit more.
A bit of balance.
There's one or two characters which are meant to tip the scales a little bit.
Yeah, but for thematic reasons usually,
Yeah, but not like break the scale and send it to the middle of the earth.
Yeah, or at the very least, not jump up and down on the scale. If they're jumping up and down on their side of the scale with inconsistency, I think that can also be just as bad.
Yeah,
which is something we should have probably brought up for one of the other fights. Now that I'm thinking about it, we'll talk about that one later.
But that character, I can't remember the name of the actor.
You know what? Most people are going to know him as General Zod from which is terrible because his name's Michael Sheehan or something like that. It's going to come back to me.
We're terrible at names anyway. So
yeah, I'd mispronounce it, and one of you would give out quite rightly.
So I definitely where you get he's very good in it as that character, but there are I can pick out scenes that I am myself. I was like, in the first round against Spotlight, I was very much like,
don't bring it up.
You brought up one part that I was just like, I can defend this.
Yeah.
And now that I've thought on it more, I have a better defense for it.
Oh, good.
But I was also hoping that you wouldn't, because we talked about him before, and I was just like, I was in the car and I was just like, shit, I gave him
Please bear in mind that no one could be as dumb as I look, and I am not as dumb as I look. I didn't leave everything on the pitch that day when you and I faced off in the mists after the cannon fire, where I was touting for Spotlight and you were valiantly fighting back for Shape of Water. I kept some in reserve as a just in case. Mm-hmm. And that guy is a great just in case.
It is. It's a chink in the armor of Shape of Water that I do have to give it to you, because we discussed this in the fact that his certain scenes that he does is a little bit not overacting. I wouldn't say that.
No.
I say that it's just the character becomes bigger than life.
Yeah.
Within the confines of the Shape of Water world.
And as a lover of the film, I can say some nice things about Shape of Water. And I kind of want to get them out there because they're sort of important. Okay. And it does play into what we've been talking about with the caricature of the bad guy at times. And you were talking about how they're imbalanced. Mm-hmm. One of the great things about watching movies with my wife is she'll say things that I'll never think. She'll pick up on things that I won't necessarily. And obviously because Shape of Water is so beautiful, I was looking at it like it was a beautiful illustration, a wonderful Art Deco, picture, a great classic poster print, because it has that quality to it. And it is achingly gorgeous. Like, it's a beautiful film to travel through. I Del Toro does that better than most, to give him credit, because he's never got any credit. So he needs it from me, obviously. He says jokingly,
Del Toro's my boy. So
Del Toro is his boy. I forgot.
He is my boy. So
can we get a GoFundMe for that T-shirt, please? But having said that, it is that wonderful, beautiful 1920s poster print at times, set in the 1940s. Then my wife said, this sometimes has a kind of a comic book panel, and I was like, I don't know, don't really see that until that guy. The bad guy, who I should have looked up his name a second ago, when he doesn't overact, when that character overexposes or jumps up and down on the scale or whatever way you want to put it.
Bigger than life kind of character.
Yeah, it almost speech bubbles and almost turns everything around him into a comic panel. Okay. And I have no problem with that in an appropriate movie. Mm-hmm. This wasn't that movie. I think sometimes the over-egging does kind of hurt the film a little bit in places.
Okay.
Not massively. It's not a killer, but it's a shame. It's a shame.
No, I get you. Like, from start to finish for this film, it's a wonderful visual piece for me.
Yeah.
The charm of kind of stuff, like I've said it all before in the Spotlight versus Shape of Water kind of thing. It's just it has a special place in my heart. Mm-hmm. But we're now on to the second round.
Yeah.
And I need to use my head a little bit more than, in this one. I know I'm going to get flack for that, but I'm going to use my head a little bit more. And I do agree that, because I think the only fault that I found with King's Speech.
Oh, you found one. Good,
Well,
because
no,
I still haven't.
Remember what I said last time was the fact that it feels like the other princes / kings.
Oh yeah. Good point.
They you know, if we were using the scale thing, she wouldn't be over tipping the scales.
Right.
You know, like
this is the basically the Wallace Simpson character.
Yeah.
So the king's brother. Yeah. The eventual king's brother.
So it just, for me, that part kind of felt like, you know, a little bit. It threw me out of the.
It felt unbalanced.
Yeah, but it didn't feel as imbalanced as a character from Shape of Water.
Yeah, I get that.
But like.
Again,
okay, so I'm not gonna. I can't judge these on beauty because I'm always gonna go towards Shape of Water. But King's Speech is
close
still
bloody run. Then it must be for you, because like for me, it's King's Speech is a more beautiful film, but it's got for you who love Shape of Water. This has to be maybe the one film out of them all that runs it closest. Is it?
See, that's the thing is, I think if I was going to choose a film out of the grouping that might kind of like, you know,
run it close just on a visual.
Yeah, it would probably be King's Speech and Birdman.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Kind of thing, just with lighting and sets and stuff like that. It was a very good use of everything. Like, you know, like what we were saying in our original film, or in the
original clash between the two films.
Not even that, in Argo versus Birdman. If you haven't seen the film, we have a link. Which goes. So I was saying that which goes, Birdman and King's Speech and Shape of Water all have scenes within it that I can pick out right now and be just like, they're really good scenes. But there's between King's Speech and Shape of Water, there's two sets.
Give it to me. Just don't tease us. Throw these out. Yeah,
there's two sets that I'm just like, oh man, they're amazing two sets in these two things. It's the room. The Lionel's, is it Lionel?
Leopold, Leonard, all of the elves.
Like, you know,
it's Jeffrey Rush's character's room, which is gorgeous.
But every time you see it,
what a set!
You know what's going to go on with it and stuff, and you even see the wallpaper. And
and I think they move in and out in that room very well. Like the camera travels in that room beautifully, which is a great analog to how the camera moves around in some of the rooms in Shape of Water, which is why I kind of mentally paired their visual a little bit.
So the in Shape of Water, it's the cage, the holding cell room.
Yeah, exactly.
So every time you see that, you're just like, it's amazing. It's big. It's got, like, you know, it's got, there's, you know, it very much sets to the time, which is like riveted things and weirdly shaped 50s, like, you know, technology kind of things. So between that, I can't, with visuals and stuff between the two movies, I can't separate them. Well, I can't.
Did you say there was another set of scenes though? Is it those two? Because I think a second ago I got the impression there's more. In set wise, the scenes inside those sets are very, very good. In Shape of Water, there's, like, you know, there's the opening scene within the movie set, the cinema kind of thing. It really kind of tells to me. Yeah. There's the dance scene. They're which is the main character and her house or her neighbor are, like, you know, watching a thing, and they dance a little bit charming stuff. Yeah, but there's a scene that I've mentioned before in King's Speech that I really, really enjoyed, and it's the throne. Edwards, you know, which is just fabulous.
So, like, but for my head, I'm having to lean towards King's Speech.
Well, for the sake of giving us ample time to close out this video and be respectful to, because I have to be very respectful to. Now that you've said that, I'm going to just jump on it and go. So, the King's Speech is the winner of this round, if that's where your head's going.
Yeah, for the second round, I gotta push King's Speech forward, even though I really want Shape of Water to go forward.
Your heart wants Shape of Water.
Just from a technical standpoint, King's Speech can do a lot better in scene by scene breakdowns.
Okay, and I'll back it for the other reasons as well. I think, from an emotional point of view, I think there is enough emotion and enough heart. Again, your heart is is under the sea right now. Your heart is the shape of water. That was so cheesy. I would like to absolve Paul from any involvement in that particular pun.
I feel awkward. No,
yeah, you feel awkward. I've just been videotaped saying that. But no, my heart is King's Speech. My head is King's Speech. Your heart is Shape of Water, but your head is King's Speech.
I think
it's a 3-on-1, which is a very honourable way for Shape of Water to drift off, sink, or trickle away.
Yeah. Now,
3 water puns.
You're awful. If I was to now, the more interesting thing is if I was to put King's Speech versus Spotlight.
Oh, you're just trying to torture me now. I understand.
Not torturing you. I would also go with King's Speech between those two setups.
You know what? If Spotlight had made it through, this would have been a much more difficult fight for me. But on balance,
and it's not.
I would have been where you are. My heart would have said Spotlight, but my head would have put King's Speech through.
See, that's the thing. So it does feel.
So it's deserving. I think no matter what happens, we would have put the King's Speech through.
My heart is shrinking three sizes smaller because I'm choosing my head over my heart. But from technical standpoint, I have to say that I have to give more points towards King's Speech than I do Shape of Water.
I think we haven't really given King's Speech that big a shake in this video because we've been talking about Shape of Water. So just in 20 seconds, King's Speech is acted wonderfully, shot wonderfully. It's technically wonderful, yes. It's got a lot of heart. It's a film that takes a very unlikely hero and makes somebody sympathetic who is royalty. And really that's a tricky thing to do. If you can have somebody like a king with a minor issue in the grander scheme of things, put him in a time where people are poor and have bigger issues in the grander scheme of things and still make him sympathetic, that's damn good filmmaking. So
yeah, like I feel like I really should be holding this off a little bit further, but I think the first issue that we come across for him, I think I think it's the doorway into the bigger issue that is there, and that's a beautiful
good filmmaking. Bloody good film.
It's a beautiful vehicle or beautiful method in traveling us through the deeper problems within that character's thing. So I got to give it to him.
Yeah, and we're not talking anymore about the King's Speech because we're going to have to talk about it again when? In the final.
Yeah, in the final.
In the final of the tourney, we have
Birdman
versus King's Speech.
Mm-hmm. So this is going to be a tough one.
It's going to be a good one, folks. You have to tune in for that. Any of the clashes you haven't seen, if you want to see how these two titans got to face each other, how they made it to that last round, how basically Paul's heart has now been broken that Shape of Water isn't there, and also now we've been robbed. There is no Keaton on Keaton, the clash of the Keatons, because Spotlight didn't make it through. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. I'm very excited because I genuinely don't know what film's gonna win.
Yeah, this is gonna be a tough one.
So watch out for that video. We may need you to help us decide. So if it comes to it, please be gentle. Just there's now an emotional connection for us in this. Mm-hmm. So next time round, the final. Dun dun dun. We'll throw up the graphic now to show you how they got there, as you can see. And we will see you next time.
Yep. We've been Hero Saves. Like, share, subscribe.
I've been Patrick.
And I've been Paul.
Shape of Water.
No.